Good evening, everybody, and how are you? Welcome to a Sunday night LFL number 4 letter U broadcast. And this evening, I've got some news, and I'm going to talk about Labor Day, which is tomorrow, and the music corner. I guess I could call it. We're going to do the Cheap Trick album, All Shook Up. This, so I hope everyone's doing well, still surviving the heat. And everything's going well, you know. So anyway, I know college football started uh, this weekend. If you're into college football, I haven't gotten into much of anything this year as far as sports, but it's okay. So anyway, and of course, you know, um, I've got positive news, all positive news, negative. All right, we're getting feedback. Okay. And all positive news, no negative stuff here. And I'm going to go into our next Bible group with chapter 3 of the letter of James coming up very soon. So, also, I have the slick tees, just your style. So we do the shirts and hats and plates and aprons and totes and mugs and tumblers and water bottles and all kinds of different things. So you can find that at the website at msavio66.wix.com /life skills for life and type the whole thing out. All right. So, yeah, so that's this evening's agenda. And hopefully everyone's doing fine, enjoying the nice weekend. I know the pools are closing this weekend, and you know it's going to get into fall here, and you're going to be seeing all the Halloween and the Christmas things up already. So you can see a bunch of that stuff on the website too, shirts and stuff been making and things like that. So um, yeah, and you can also find the lsfl4u on Facebook and the channel here. So hopefully, like I said, everyone's doing fine and things are going well. So I guess we'll just go ahead and let's get into it and let's get some news. And then we'll go into Labor Day and then Music Corner. All right. Grizzly bears are spotted with 5 cubs in Yellowstone. That's cool. Grizzly bear spotted. Now, nature lovers and wildlife enthusiasts were treated to a rare and extraordinary sight in Yellowstone National Park. A grizzly bear was spotted with a record-breaking 5 cubs in tow. This remarkable sighting is unprecedented in the park's history, as litters of this size are the largest ever observed in Yellowstone. And Linda Veres, a spokesperson for the park, highlighted just how unusual this event is, noting that the average grizzly litter size is typically only 2 cubs, with nearly half of all the cubs not surviving their first year. Now, the survival of the quintet will be closely watched by park officials and visitors alike. Very cool. I guess that is, how interesting it is that when you see things you haven't seen in a long time, I guess that's awesome. That's good. You know, that's awesome. And a bus driver's quick thinking saves 14 children as a school bus erupts in flames. A bus driver in Aurora saved the lives of 14 children after their school bus caught fire. According to the Aurora Fire Rescue, the bus was fully engulfed in flames when firefighters arrived. Thanks to the bus driver's swift actions, all 14 children were safely evacuated without injury. As the bus driver was making a turn, he noticed smoke emerging through the dashboard. Without hesitation, he pulled the bus over and immediately assisted the children in evacuating. His calm and decisive actions ensured that everyone was safely off the bus before the fire could spread further. Our fire rescue quickly extinguished the blaze, and their investigation revealed that the fire started in the engine compartment and was accidental. Well, yeah, things happen. Things catch cars catch on fire. That things happen. It's not like neglect. All the school districts, they have usually a designated bus mechanics and things where they take it, and these school buses are maintained and they're checked and everything. So yeah, things happen, right? It could be anybody, it could be anything, even a school bus. So thank God, all the kids were good, and he got them off the bus, and nothing bad happened. Thank God, right? So, and a 12-year-old saves mother's life in Texas sinking car. A 12-year-old boy, Dwight Winbush, saved his mother's life after she became trapped in a sinking car. Jaquetta Winbush suffered a seizure while driving, causing the vehicle to plunge into a nearby body of water with her children. Dwight ambushed Asia inside as the car quickly began to submerge. Dwight and his sister managed to escape, but their mother remained trapped inside. Dwight flagged down West Orange police officer Charles Cobb, who happened to be nearby. Officer Cobb, along with several good Samaritans who stopped to help, rushed to the scene. They managed to pull Jaquetta from the sinking vehicle, finding her unconscious and not breathing. Thanks to their swift actions and CPR efforts, Jaquetta was revived. After spending 3 weeks on a ventilator, she is now breathing on her own. Amen. God bless. Angels in disguise. You don't think God puts people and places and situations? Well, you know, um, God is good. Amen. Man. Anyway, okay. Florida's patent. Oh boy, what happened there? Sorry. Florida's painted rock movement goes viral. In Brevard County, Florida, a wonderful movement is taking place, bringing joy and connection to thousands of people through the simple act of painting rocks. What started as a small gesture of kindness between two women has blossomed to a thriving online community with over 40,000 members. Jen Justiano began painting rocks as a way to cope with anxiety following a hurricane, posting photos of her creations on Facebook. At the same time, her friend Carrie was sharing positive messages on the platform, encouraging others to spread kindness. When Carrie came across Justiniano's rock post, she was inspired. That spark led to two women to create a private Facebook group called Brevard Rocks Florida, FL, should say. What they thought would be a small circle of friends quickly turned into a sensation. Within weeks, the group grew to 1,000 members, and then today it boasts an incredible 41,500 members, and people are joining every day. So that's awesome. When things happen, and devastation, hurricanes and natural disasters, and what do we do? For others. Everybody loses, and how would you? I don't know how I would react if something a tornado would rip through here or something. How would you, what would you do, and have you thought of this in advance? Because I think we take so much for granted that we go about our daily lives and not think that at any given time something like this could something like can happen anywhere. An earthquake, a flood, a tornado, so what would you do? What would you do? especially for others. So, and the Iowa Supreme Court rules there is no constitutional right to abortion, and they uphold the heartbeat law. Planned Parenthood of the Heartland and ACLU of Iowa and the Emma Goldman Clinic opted to forego a continued legal battle after the Iowa Supreme Court upheld the state's strict abortion law and reiterated that there is no constitutional right to an abortion in the state. Iowa's fetal heartbeat law protects most unborn babies after fetal heart activity can be detected at about 6 weeks. There are exceptions for incest or to save the life of the mother or the child. So they act like, read it. Just read the heartbeat bill. And they act like, well, there's, when you detect a baby's heartbeat, that's a life, whether you like it or not. Whether you can say, no, because this or that or this. No, it's a life. God creations, a child of God is in that mother. Period. And there's those exceptions, and they don't say, look, there are exceptions to this bill, and people still get, well, it's the mother's choice, and it's the mother, well, it's a baby's life too. And then the argument ensues, well, it's not a baby. Well, what's sperm? Is sperm alive or dead until it hits the eggs? So how does that sperm know to swim and to go? And how does that sperm know? I don't know. I'm not a biologist. I'm not a doctor scientist, but think about it. There are all different questions here on creation and how God made it all happen with us when he created us. So that's like God says, well, I'm going to create each and every one of you, right? Which he did. But then at the last, nah, you know what? I changed my mind. I'm going to wipe you off. I'm going to wipe you out. Okay. So hopefully you get the point. It's an argument and always will be an argument, whatever. But yeah. So anyway, that's the news. That's the news, folks. So now, Labor Day is tomorrow, and so we'll just kind of talk about a little bit about Labor Day and originated kind of things that goes on, and most. I don't know if you're really taught. All we know it's a day, it's a holiday, and it's a day off. But why? Okay, it's well Labor Day. Well, it's to observe the working people, give them to acknowledge, you know, labor, your work, your hard work. So does that mean people who don't work don't get the day off? or the ones that, you know what I mean? That you know, that doesn't make sense right there. But you get you get my idea that, you know, so why should that, I don't know. Anyway, all right, let's get into Labor Day. Not get on to that side because that side I don't want to get into. All right, that's not what this is about. So anyway, Labor Day, and I don't know about you, but I'm in a generation where most of my buddies, myself, we worked or went to school, whatever. When high school was over, we didn't go to college. That was just the still generation of how we were raised. We worked. Some of us, a lot of us, some even worked in high school. We had high school jobs, even in high school. So we worked. Back in that generation, our parents still didn't hand us everything. We had to work. You want a car? Go get a job. you know. So anyway, Labor Day. And before it was a federal holiday, Labor Day was recognized by labor activists in individual states. After municipal ordinances were passed in 1885 and 1886, a movement developed to secure state legislation. New York was the first state to introduce a bill, but Oregon was the first to pass a law recognizing Labor Day on February 21st, 1887. Now, during that year, four more states, Colorado, Massachusetts, New Jersey, and New York, passed laws creating a Labor Day holiday. And in 1882, Peter J. McGuire, the General Secretary of the Brotherhood of Carpenters and Joiners and co-founder of the American Federation of Labor, suggested setting aside a day for a general holiday for laboring classes to honor those who, from rude nature, have delved and carved all the grandeur we behold. Interesting the way things were phrased and said back then, wasn't it? So Matthew McGuire, later the secretary of Local 344, spelt differently. Peter McGuire was McGuire, and Matthew McGuire was Maguire, unless I mispronounced it or copied it wrong, whatever, when I looked up the research. But anyway, the Local 344 of the International Association of Machinists in Paterson, New Jersey, proposed a holiday in 1882 while serving as secretary of the Central Labor Union in New York. Okay. Now, the first Labor Day holiday was celebrated on Tuesday, September 5th in 1882 in New York City, in accordance with the plans of the Central Labor Union. The Central Labor Union held its second Labor Day holiday just a year later on September 5th, 1883. Now, by 1894, 23 more states had adopted the holiday. And on June 28th, 1894, President Grover Cleveland signed a law making the first Monday in September of each year a national holiday. During the major economic depressions of the early 1890s, the Pullman Palace Car Company cut wages in its factories. Discontented workers joined the American Railway Union, led by Eugene V. Debs, which supported their strike by launching a boycott of all Pullman cars on all railroads. Now, the ARU members across the nation refused to switch Pullman cars into trains, which these switchmen were disciplined. The entire ARU struck the railroads on June 26, 1894. So within 4 days, 125,000 workers on 29 railroads had quit work rather than handle Pullman cars. Oregon was the first state to celebrate Labor Day as a legal holiday in 1887. All right, so I think I do remember actually studying that, where they with the Pullman cars on the railroads. I think I remember possibly, if I remember right, studying that at one time. But they cut their wages. Interesting. Now, wearing white after Labor Day. Okay, wearing white. Yeah, I've heard this too, and I always thought, well, why? So hopefully this information, and if you have more, please add. You know, so this tradition goes back to the late Victorian era, where it was a fashion faux pas, which was a fashion no-no, I guess, so to speak, to wear any white clothing after the summer officially ended on Labor Day. it was more expensive to buy white clothes, and it was a way of distinguishing the wealthy from the poor. Did not know that. So it was a class thing. So you know who wealthy and non-wealthy people were after Labor Day, since it was more expensive to buy white clothes. Because I guess you can afford the laundry to clean it. I mean, think about it too. So not only was it probably more expensive, but white. In those days, too, it's not like, you know, white, everything, you know. So there you go. So it was a class issue of wearing white. So it was kind of like a slap in the face, so to speak, to wear white after Labor Day. Hmm. And let's see, finally, yeah, and finally, but not least, Labor Day is, I don't know if it is or not now, but it is the end of hot dog season, except for the fall when you put your hot dogs in your chili mac, whatever. But technically, it's the end of hot dog season. You don't grill anymore like you did in the summertime, I guess. So, you know, hot dogs are, kind of not on the menu as much during the fall and winter after summer. So it is the unofficial end of hot dog season is Labor Day. All right, there you go. There's some background information that you learn every day about things and here Labor Day. So take it easy tomorrow. Enjoy a day off. That's what it's for. I always thought, boy, we need more days off in this country. I don't know about you. Agree to disagree, whatever, but I think we definitely need, like Europe, they take the holidays, like they work so many months or something, and then they take like 1 or 2 weeks off and everything closes and something like that, or you take a week off or something like that all year round or something. That wouldn't be too bad. That wouldn't be too bad. And also, a lot of the European uh, countries are going to 4-day work weeks. And so far, I still have not found anything negative about doing that. They're getting just as much work done, and they're having a 3-day weekend to enjoy family, things like that. And I'm sure it boosts business too. Think about it. You got a 3-day weekend. So your businesses probably are thriving. Like probably, I'm sure like your restaurants are still open and your entertainment and restaurants, and I don't know. I haven't looked into it that much. But if they aren't, if they even if all your businesses went to a 4-day work week, more power to them too. But I would think that that would be a real good, you know, for business if they so choose to take a 4-day work week instead of a 5, or take that extra day during the week and stay open on the weekends though, maybe like close 1 day during the week and Sundays or something like that, or 2 days during the week, close Mondays and Tuesdays or something, and stay open Wednesday through Sunday. You still got a 4-day work week, right, or something. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. I have to look more into it, but all I know is a lot of countries in Europe went to a 4-day work week, and apparently it's working out pretty well. Working out pretty well. So anyway, that is Labor Day, and That's Labor Day. And now, something different. I want to do more music. All right. I want to do more music. The last music topic I think we covered the new Black Crowes album, Happiness Bastards. And we kind of went through songs, kind of analyzed and kind of um, talked about the album, and how great album, classic Black Crowes, why they're such a great rock band. And this new album kind of covered their whole career, but it's just as good as it was when the albums came out, you know? So, yeah. So tonight I was going through making shirts and this album popped up on YouTube. And I thought, oh my gosh, I haven't heard that in a long time, type of thing. And it was the Cheap Trick album, All Shook Up. So we're going to go ahead and, we're going to give a listen to a little of it and hopefully they won't pull whatever, because I'm going to stop the songs and we're just going to talk about it. Hopefully it won't get pulled or it won't get blocked, whatever. But I'm not going to play the whole song in entirety. This isn't a reaction. This is just a let's talk music. I really miss talking music. So we're going to look at the Cheap Trick album, All Shook Up, and All Shook Up is the fifth studio album, and it was released in 1980. And it was produced by Sir George Martin, who is, of course, famous for producing the Beatles. And Stop This Game was the only single to chart on the Billboard Hot 100. And also, bassist Tom Peterson left the band, and he was replaced by Pete Comita, which I also heard was a cool guy. But, sometimes you lose a member and it loses even as good as you can are or whatever, but hey, give hats off to Pete for filling those shoes. And I think he did very well from the albums he was on during the 80s up till Tom came back for the Lap of Luxury album. I think he came back, I believe, was the Lap of Luxury album. So anyway, Cheap Trick played Baby Loves to Rock and Can't Stop It, But I'm Gonna Try on the January 17th, 1981 episode of Saturday Night Live. And we're going to be listening to Baby Loves to Rock. No, we won't. No, we're not going to listen to that one. But anyway, Baby Loves to Rock was a riff from Psycho Daisies by the Yardbirds. And the chorus and title of I Love You Honey But I Hate Your Friends is taken from a song that Rick Nielsen wrote for Rick Derringer called It Must Be Love. So there's a little background when it came out and produced, and because I believe they recorded this at Abbey Road, and I believe George Martin was saying that Cheap Trick was probably one of his favorite bands to work with. Just I guess they were just down to earth, normal, just guys. Just good. Easy to work with, and just real. Just came in, did their thing, and probably listened to suggestions and did it and seen how it sounded. I mean, that's what it's about. All the egos, and you don't need that, right? But unfortunately, you have drummers to keep all the egos in check in the band. So anyway, yeah, and I know Cheap Trick also was one of the last bands to work with John Lennon. From I heard that because John Lennon was assassinated that same year, I believe, 1980, and Cheap Trick, I guess maybe they were still there when they were recording this. No, they had to be. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because if they worked with John Lennon, I don't know if it was here or there. But anyway, either way, they're affiliated with the Beatles that way. And this album, to me, a little bit of my own um, input. This album kind of sounds like a collaboration of British rock bands: Kinks, The Who, Rod Stewart, The Who, Yardbirds, and Cheap Trick to me, and I think a lot of like real fans who love Cheap Trick could say maybe, Cheap Trick is like definitely influenced by the Beatles. Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with a band being influenced by other bands because we're all influenced by something or somebody that's been done already, you know. There's nothing new, right? But I would take that as a compliment, if a drummer watched me play and watched my style or how I just, my non-flashy pocket playing, you know, I'm not a Neil Peart or a Tommy Lee or Lars by or Mike Patnoy or absolutely not. I'm not even close. But hey, I have how I learned and how I think should a drummer should approach music, maybe depending on what type of music, because you've got so many great drummers, and I always thought that's great. But I thought, you know, as far as drums go, I think you don't have to be fancy, flashy to be a great drummer, right? Like a lot of people, like Ringo Starr, say he wasn't a great drummer. Well, really, he was, because he might not have been a fancy, flashy player, right? But he knew what the song needed with the dynamics, fills. He knew he did what the song needed. And I think that's just as important as flailing all over the place and doing these really killer fills and all these killer things. Look at AC/DC, Phil Rudd. My God, you talk about, and I've mentioned this before, that you want to know what a rhythm section should be in a rock band? AC/DC, Black Crows, all your right, like Aerosmith, all those bands. I think on top of being great already, but even making them over that was a tight, a super tight rhythm section, drums, a rhythm guitar and bass, or bass and drums. Period. If you got that, no matter, you've got one of the greatest rock bands ever. And that's just me. You might disagree, but that's okay. It's just an opinion, and like anything. But if you really listen, all your great bands had really, really great, really great rhythm sections in the band. And I think it just, for me, that's all you need, is to be solid, tight, and just bring it, you know. So anyway, enough of that. But anyway, yeah, this is what we talk. That's why I missed doing a music segment so much. I really miss it. So anyway, um, we're gonna do the songs "Just Got Back," "Stop This Game," "World's Greatest Lover," and we're going to do "I Love You, Honey, but I Hate Your Friends." All right, we're gonna kind of listen to those. We're gonna break it down and kind of just kind of give it a listen, and I hope the audio comes out okay for you, um, on this and everything. So I hope The audio comes out okay and nice. So anyway, um, let's kind of listen to a few of these and break it down and give it a listen. All right. And why I got this one was just got back because I just rewatched Grown Ups with Adam Sandler again, and they played this when they were at the water park. It's just and you're gonna and you hear so many, I think, of these British rock type bands in this music on this album. I don't know, to me, but now that I've read into it more, George Martin did produce it, and they were probably, I believe, they were at Abbey Road Studios, and you know, so here we go. This is Just Got Back. All right, right off the bat, you cannot. I always thought it's so cool to have drum intros, and Bunny Carlos once again jumped on it, and even that I thought was very very Beatlesque in a cheap trick way. You got cool drums going. Robin Zander, which has one of the greatest underrated, I think, for me, Robin Zander, extremely underrated vocalist. The guy's got a set of pipes out the yin yang. Um, when he sa- you this he, Robin Zander is the type of singer when he sings, it's Robin Zander. It's Robin Zander, right? And then Rick Nielsen, of course. I think these guys are all underrated. They're a Midwestern rock band from Illinois. They're just, they're not Hollywood. They're not rock star type guys. But for me, that is, they put out so much good music and good rock and roll. It's me. I've seen them a couple times, I believe. Well, I know I've seen them. Yeah, actually, I just seen them once, and it was the original lineup in St. Louis here. So, got to see them. I got to see them. So anyway, you got that cool, kind of that nice drum opening, vocals. Then all of a sudden, kicks in with guitars and the bass, very fast. The jing, 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 jing. Just rock, you know, not wasting too much time. And this is a pattern in music from probably the beginning of time, and you'll catch it where, and I think I even learned this in music appreciation as ABA pattern in music, where A, it starts off, and then B, it changes, and then A, it'll change again, B, it'll change again. And this is where I think The Who and a lot of your British bands, um, even Pink Floyd, everybody has just done it a lot, and you hear it all the time, and maybe you don't notice it where it'll cut halftime and it'll kick back in again, and the tempos change, the dynamics change, and it does this right here. It does this not too long in. So let's go back a little bit. Okay. Slows down, builds up, and then back in. So that big beginning lift, filler note, and Robin Zander, Joan Old Beetle. It's just man, that's what I mean by the vocals. Robin Zander is so and listen to his solo album, actually. Go listen to his solo album. It's actually really good. I guess they were kind of in a I don't know, a personal hiatus or they weren't, seeing eye to eye, whatever was going on. And Robin Zander put a solo album out and it actually is really good. Um, we might do that too on the Music Corner sometime. But I think this is, and it's only like a, a couple minutes long. It's not even a 3 minute song, but it's so effective. It can be so some of these don't need to go 3 4 minutes and be an epic song to be great either. And this is pretty much it sounds just a very simple patterned rock song that starts, cuts that halftime or so about in the middle, and then just jumps right back in and fades out. And you know, it's definitely bands have a distinguished sound, and when you hear them, oh, that's Aerosmith. Oh, that's Cheap Trick. You know right out there. There's no question. So just got back. Um, I really, I really do. If I was in a band, if I ever get in a rock band again, um, that's one I think I would really like to do. Or if I get in a Cheap Trick tribute band, I'd like definitely that would have to be on the list to do. It's just got back. If I was in a Cheap Trick tribute band, that would kind of be cool too. All right. So that was just got back. Um, yeah, enough said. Just but you notice that cut time, that change in about the middle of it there. So anyway, we're gonna move on, and we're gonna kind of listen to "Stop This Game" and "World's Greatest Lover." All right. Okay. Once again, that drone beginning in the beginning, Robin Zander's voice comes in. It's got that nice reverb in it, but it's so clean and clear, very well produced, and you can tell George Martin and producers just know how to take and an accent and just bring a voice to its best. And I think that's why I think George Martin had the ability with the Beatles to do is to take what he had and just to make it that much better in the studio and really take it to steps more. And I think he does this here with Xander's voice in the beginning with the reverb. See, and it's so clear. All the enunciations of the m and n and everything is so clear and clean about it, which is real cool. And then this part with the da da. See if it. Oh, sorry. What's that? It sounds like a bell or a high pitched. I can't. I don't know what that is, but it's hitting the same those same accents. Dun 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 dun. And I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is, but it's I can't quite put my finger on the what that instrument is with it hitting those accents. All right. Okay. I think this is the end of this. This is, um, and Danny Carlo with the march. Look, here, I messed up the whole word. And don't you love like that John Lennon-esque hi, sorry, I'm not a singer, but that real grungy, that real raspy, it's just something about how cool that is, and you can do that. Um, I don't know. Sorry. Okay. Go ahead and go back down. Okay. And like voice, like I always pay attention to music. So that's why actually listen to like even vocals because when I learn songs and listen to songs to play, I really literally it's weird because I tune the vocals out and I concentrate and focus on, of course, the drums and the bass rather than guitars and vocals when I learn songs. So when I actually listen to like the singing and tune, because I tune it out when I learn songs and listen to songs, I listen to what the drummer's doing. But r- I think so much of songs and what you feel comes out in the voice. And Robin Zander came out very clean, crisp, you know, more melodic. And then as the song went, the frustration came in, and you can hear the tones in the voice to tell how you're feeling. And this is, I think, a really good example of that in vocals. How when your vocals change, your mood changes to tell how you're feeling. So stop this game. I'm getting ticked off, or I'm getting this is a bunch of but this is ridiculous. So you're showing that emotion through the vocals and changing the dynamics and the raspiness, and maybe vocal coaches can really define that so much better than I could, um but the music is always pulsing and always going though, because it's never going to stop. See, the game is on and it's not stopping, right? So, yeah, this is definitely, I think, how music tells a story or a mood. Definitely, it's a good example of it. And there's that. There was, break. If you do it on stop, it off, and then the background vocal, depending the chorus. Oh, that note. Yeah, he just, and the drum comes in as the music fades. And then the drone comes back in. Um, I think one of those songs that, once again, I think a very underrated song. I just everything about it is just a great. I think a great song for me. How the dynamics, how the vocals changed towards the end there, with the repeating line of "Can't stop can't stop." Um, Very well done. Yeah, just cool song. Very Beatlesque. Like I said, he and Robin Zander would hit that high note out of nowhere. Like you know, um, just the dynamics of that was really good. Um, I think a great song. You know, um, so that's a good example of. And then all of a sudden it stop, and everybody breaks this game, and then it jumps back in. The little things like that, you know um a song just doesn't have to go full speed through the whole song. And yeah, there's breaks, there's timeless. So I very cool song, I think. So anyway, yeah. And the next song is World's Greatest Lover. And by the way, Cheap Trick 2, I think, is very underrated as far also as writing ballads. I think some of their best songs are actually ballads. Listen to the latest. by Cheap Trick. Wow. Listen to the latest. And voices. Um, they've got a lot of really good ballads. Why oh why? Um, from Next Position Please album. And very Beatlesque and very but not but Cheap Trick makes it their own. The band makes it their own is what's so cool about it, right? So we're gonna listen to World's Greatest Lover. Let's back it up a little bit. Okay. And the drone at the beginning. Okay. Um, why am I refinding these songs that I don't know what it is? It just catches my ear right away. Piano. And once again, the mix of the vocals with the reverb. And Robin Zander has such a unique vibrato to his voice that he does. And this also kind of reminds me of something like early ELO, Jeff Lynne. Please comment, let me know if you hear it too, or is it just me? But um, just once again, the dynamics starts. You know, you think he would be happy, but maybe he's like so or so just in the realization it just humbles him so much. Maybe I don't know the background of this song particularly or who he may have been talking about or what was going on, but you can tell so much in a song or a story when something's being told in the tone and dynamics of the vocal and how his range changes. I'm not a vocal coach or not a singer, but please, bear with me. But you can hear the different changes in the voice, and it sounds definitely an acoustic guitar in there. Nice acoustic, clean. This is a very you can tell this is a very good, nice produced album, actually. And I'm just rediscovering this album as we're doing this. You know, um, it, it seems to me this is just a very well produced album. Oh, Lottery, right? Man, Sullen. Man, Yeah, there's rain. He's going up and down with violins in the back. Uh, Pianos in there, lead, acoustic is steady, steady beat on drums, nice breakdown there. The horn, like a French horn or something. So yeah, this has got kind of all different things going. That sounds like strings, a horn. That's why I think you can tell George Martin very Beatlesque. George Martin and they did the Beatles did a lot of this later. In the later years with their albums with the horns and strings and you can tell and the dynamics were all over um in this. It's like he's pouring his heart out, definitely. In the music, Bunny Carlos drums, the drums don't, they're not changing really. That I can tell. They're just keeping a very nice, tight. That's what I mean by the drummer is kind of like the conductor of the band. I kind of was explained to it that way by another drummer. The drummer keeps the band together in tempo, in time, in dynamics, and where it's going, that way. And Bunny Carlos sounds like too, he doesn't waver much. He's not doing a bunch of wild, he's keeping a very steady, moving, and the rest is telling the story with the different strings and the bass filling in um, notes and then the guitars and acoustic um, and the vocals and definitely this is where I didn't realize how vocally this was unique to me. See, like I said, I'm rediscovering this album and these songs. Um, yeah, and it goes up again. Nice, and then the guitar following the vocal pattern, the strings. And Barney Carlos has still not wavered from the beat. Wow, nice orchestration, nice lead, actually. See, I always thought like lead guitar players, you got great guitar players, don't get me wrong, that can just maneuver a guitar neck like they're not from this planet. But then you got a solo like that, for instance, where it the guitar solo follows like the vocal structure. So you can literally sing the world's greatest lover along with the lead. Um, come back just a tad and see. So with me, he'll change here, I think, in a minute. Did I go ahead too far? I think I went ahead too far. There it is. But it changes a little bit, but it still follows that same vocal pattern of World's Greatest Lover. Listen to the strings run. To me, very nice. Very nice to me. Um, very nice. Um, very nice for me. That was I think if you want to know like how songs work and how structures are, I think that's might be a really good example right there of like a ballad that fills so many different moods. Definitely in this song. Um, with that, World's Greatest Lover. Um, down to the guitar solo following the vocal structure. The drums never wavered. If you want to listen to this again, just listen to the drums. The drums are always there. The drums don't need to be all over the place. That's what I mean. That's the conductor. That's the dynamics and the rhythm and the tempo and the feel of songs through the drummer, keeping all this together. That's the drummer. And this is just a really good, I think, would be a good example to teach um, younger musicians on rhythm and feel and where you don't need to be all over the place on any given instrument and even the bass. It's a very nice, solid, steady song through. Like I said, Robin Zander's vocals on this album have seemed just to be right. Man, I think George Martin really took them to another level. I think. They may think differently, or they may, but I like I said, I'm rediscovering this album and within these songs. Um, wow, yeah. Man. All right, we're gonna listen to one more off this album, and like I said, this is the 1980 All Shook Up album by Cheap Trick, who it was produced by Sir George Martin. I believe they did this at Abbey Road, also. Um, let's see. I love you, honey, but I hate your friends. It sounds like to me you're gonna agree to. It sounds like Rod Stewart. Seriously, even some of the riff, some of the vocal characteristics. It's that British. It's Rod. You would think this Rod Stewart wrote this for them, or like I said, this is why I thought this was like a British band compilation of their influences of British rock from the Beatles and ELO and the Who and but it's Cheap Trick though. You can they have their own distinct style though. They're form, their sound, and I think it was very well. This is like I realize this is such a well produced for me, and I'm not a producer by no means, but I've been in the studio and I've recorded and I've had a little bit of hands on and how I think, what a good sound is. But anyway, I thought this is very well done, produced very well. So anyway, let's wrap this up. This is the last song, and this is called "I Love You, Honey, But I Hate Your Friends." And you're gonna hear, you'll hear it, and let me know. I'll start it over again with just a few seconds, 20 seconds in. It reminds me of Rolling Stones. Okay, in Rolling Stones, um, on not only this, but Rod Stewart and Rolling Stones and Rod Stewart. Okay, that's, that's Rod Stewart. So it started with the drum beat, kicks in, the band kicks in, the vocals. Does that not remind you of Rod Stewart and the Rolling Stones? And even with that piano chop, it sounds like it's a little Richard piano chop, rock and roll. That's the little nuances that I tend to hear that are so influenced, but it's still so good at the same time. It doesn't. It just. It just makes you just want how great these guys were when they, back in the sun and with old rock and roll from Little Richard and Elvis and Jerry Lee Lewis and Bo Diddley, and those guys were such innovators. You don't understand that, a lot of people think they don't listen to it anymore, but if you really, really go back and listen to those guys, that is even from today, and still bands do this today, to this day. Um, that's the influence on how these old rock and rollers changed the course of music like this. And it's evident in this too. With this is a very Rod Stewartish, I think Rolling Stones all over it to me. Oh, that sounds like from Stop This Game. Um, that riff is from another Cheap Trick song. Dun, dun, dun. Dream Police. That sounds like from Dream Police album, from the song Dream Police. Why am I just hearing this stuff? And see, there's not even. It's like I'm hearing this for the first time again. But now I'm noticing all these little things. When you go back and listen, really listen to this stuff. Yeah, that sounds like that breakdown from Dream Police. The Dream Police again in my head. Um, to me, that sounds like from Dream Police. Interesting. All these little things will come back and distinguish what you're trying to say, or maybe just it could be just quirky. Maybe they just let's just to do it. I don't know their mindset when they're writing the songs to throw these little flashback snippets of other songs, because this album is actually the album after Dream Police, I believe. So this came out after Dream Police. Okay. I guess he's naming all the friends he hates that you have. I just now, kind of listening to the vocals. It's like he's going down a name list of all the your friends that he hates. Oh, I never noticed that either because I'm listening to the music so much. Because, like I said, when I learn a song, and I'm learning a song, the vocals are the last thing that I worry about. I kind of tune it out. All I tune in on is the actual music, and I couldn't tell you a lyric if my life depended on it. You know, I don't, depends on the song, but of course, I couldn't tell you what lyrics are in a song because I don't pay attention to the lyric. I'm so focused on what the music's doing and the dynamics, especially with me the drums, because that's what I'm learning, and I'm listening to what they're doing, and I kind of tune everything else out. It's I don't know how it's weird. You know, maybe for each musician it's different. Maybe like the guitar player listens to just the guitar, the bass focuses on just the bass, the keyboards just the keyboard. I don't know, but for me, I kind of tune everything else out except with the drums. But now that I'm kind of listening to this again, I'm hearing all these little tidbits of all these little things like this in it. And it's like, man, I don't know. Your friend is driving me nuts. I don't know if you've ever been in a relationship too with someone, you love that person, but man, their friends drive you nuts. You just can't stand them for some reason. It's like, why are you hanging around them? They suck. They need to find different friends. I don't know, but this is just, you know, um, I don't know. Interesting to hear, and how they come up with, to write about. Maybe it's someone he knew, or I don't look didn't look really the background of these songs individually, but yeah, how funny. Oh man. Oh, shut up. Anyway, commercials. That's funny. Um, yeah, just to rediscover and listen um to these songs, and really listen to each individual thing and break it down like that, and you hear things that you've never maybe noticed before or something like that, and you're thinking, man, I never paid attention or noticed that before in a song. But that was very enjoyable, actually, rediscovering songs from that album, and like I said, how well produced it was. Now listening to it again, um, I hope you liked it, and I hope please comment or something if it kind of reminded you of, like I said, this it felt like a British rock compilations of all the British rock bands writing, you know, contributing a song. you know, I think you had so many influences, but it was Cheap Trick. That there's no mistaking the voice. There's no mistaking that Tom Peterson. What he's got, like a 12-string bass or something like that, and of course Bunny Carlos, just another steady, very solid drummer. Rick Nielsen, of course, good guitar player. Um, and this is one of those you could tell where they were doing what the song needed or required in the song. They weren't like going too far. They weren't straying from songs during the songs and just going chaotic things or fills or guitar solos. It was very structured, a very structured songs at the same time. um, but yeah, that was Cheap Trick All Shook Up, and I'm gonna I had to listen to this again. Really listen to it again and pick out these little things I never heard before. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. That was kind of neat. So I hope to do more of these, the music corner type thing, and talk about this and do that. So I hope this doesn't get yanked or deleted, whatever. But I think it's I'm not. Anyway, I hope it doesn't, and you kind of really get appreciation for the music. I'm not making money off of it. I don't want to. Whatever. This is for to really understand and really talk about, other than just more power to them. Just to do a reaction and make faces to songs is great, but you know they really don't. And something else I didn't notice in this album too. Um, I don't think either you need a row of guitar pedals to sound great. They're awesome, don't get me wrong. They have the guitar pedals like your chorus and flange and distortion, but here it sounds like Rick Nielsen really didn't go um a floorboard of guitar pedals. on this either. He doesn't really you know, use a whole lot. I'll have to watch one of his guitar rig breakdown videos and see what he uses, but it doesn't sound like they don't have much on him. It sounds like really they're pretty much going straight from the amp, to the board with not a lot of effects or anything like that. All the instruments are pretty much plugged in. Let's play the way it should be. The way it should be. The only changes have been maybe, the vocals, maybe some of their other songs, they maybe added effects, but these songs, I think, were pretty basic, really good, clean rock songs that didn't overdo anything either to me. There wasn't a lot of stuff going on. It's just plug the stuff in, run it, mix it, play the way it should be. The way all these guys did it. They didn't have all that back then. I know they started making pedals for Jimi Hendrix, I believe. Companies started making pedals for him, some different pedals, and it was in the mid to late '60s where they started coming out a lot of different types of effect pedals for guitars, and they were making them for Jimi Hendrix. Um, yeah, not a lot of frills and thrills, and it's just a straight good rock in your face songs from what we listened to me. There was the strings, piano, very, like I said, very Beatlesque, very British rockish influences. And that last one, like I said, that was to me Rod Stewart and the Rolling Stones all over it. For me, you know, and that one that sounded like a from the Dream Police riff there from the from the Dream Police song. They kind of toss in there and little teasers of this and that, and maybe even from like different songs like that there where they throw a little chorus or something or a line from another song in there, things like that, you know um, but to me it was very very good, and I just kind of rediscovered these as we were listening. I just thought, and it just popped up on the YouTube thing. It's like, all shook up. Oh my gosh, Cheap Trick, all shook up. I haven't heard that in forever, you know. And I just, you know, picked some songs off of it, that I thought I recognized more than any of them. And those four, whatever we did, I think I recognized more than any of them off the album. That's why I did those particular four, because I think I remembered them. And then once I started listening to it, it's like, oh, okay, I do remember. I do remember, because I am a Cheap Trick fan, definitely. Um, always really liked Cheap Trick. Always have liked Cheap Trick. Once I kind of got to listen to them, I thought, okay, just put them on the list. You know, put them on the list. Because like when their first album came out, I was only 11. So I think at that time I was just discovering rock and roll at that time. So there's so many bands that you know, I just didn't know, at 11 years old, I guess, I was just discovering rock and roll. And really, as far as playing, I was, you know, playing music and starting to play drums, you know. So anyway, that's the broadcast. Thank you so much for joining me. Once again, I appreciate it. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel here at lsfl, the number 4 letter U. And please subscribe. And if there's a topic you'd like to cover, I can look up and research. Please do. Comments, albums you want me to check out and pick songs from, and we'll do this. We'll kind of just talk music. Man, I miss doing that. I really miss talking about music and things like that. But I'm glad I got to do one, and I hope the information about Labor Day kind of helped too. Why Labor Day? Where's Labor Day come in the 1880s? Man, yeah, you know. So, and I hope the news stories, positive news stories, you won't hear on your social media. It's all death, destruction, division, and depression. Your constant negative news. Not here, my friends. Step out of the world. Pray often. Count your blessings. Plug into a church and get right with God. No matter how much you fall on your face and how much, man, life's a struggle. All right. And Jesus knew it wasn't going to be easy. And he's the one who said, guys, you're in for a battle. It's going to be tough because it's the way, just wait till I come back. Things will be fine. But you have to do your part too. So don't give up. All right. Stay strong until the end. One of his last commands he gave us. Don't give up. Don't conform to what the world's doing. Make a difference in the world, in someone's life too. So on that, thank you so much. Next broadcast, we will do chapter 3 of the letter of James for our Bible group. That'll be coming up pretty soon too. So have a blessed rest of the weekend. Enjoy your day off, and we'll see you soon. Check out the website, of course, for the slick tees, just your style, at msavio66.wix.com /life skills for life, and type the whole thing out and check it out. You can go on Venmo and Facebook also at lsfl4u. Let me know if you'd like to order a shirt you like and mail it, and whatever, or pick it up, or I'll meet you, whatever. Okay, I'm easy. I'm good. So, anyway, on that note, just thank you so much again for joining me. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and a wonderful day off tomorrow. Enjoy it and have a blessed week coming up. And let's, you know, we'll make it. All right. So God bless. See you soon.